This is the greatest YouTube video of all time because I am here with the great and powerful, the #1 best real estate wholesaling cold caller of all time, Mr. Luke Rotvold. Say hello to everybody on YouTube.
Hello,
yes.
How are you?
See how nice he is? See how calm he is? You already like him. You already feel like, I'll sell him my house.
Thank
no
you.
problem. 60% of value. No problem.
45.
45%. 45%. So, Luke, I've been hyping you up for years as the absolute best because personally I've benefited from your skills, right?
Okay.
You
Yes.
had worked with me for a long time.
Yeah.
Luke is #2. If there is a origin story to the TTP program, it started you're #2 because #1 of course is your wife.
Oh,
is his wife Sage.
That's true.
Now she was an absolute beast. This is back in the day when I was literally getting lists of properties, getting the phone numbers and hand dialing them and calling them up right next to your wife, making the calls, getting deals. That was how we did the first 25 deals of our career, was literally just driving around neighborhoods, writing down rough properties and cold calling them and getting contracts signed.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
And that's how you started because Sage really, she liked doing it. She was good at it, but really her passions lie outside of real estate, wholesaling, real estate in general.
Yep.
And in stepped, at her time, her boyfriend. And you came from, what was your background at the time?
I bartended for about 5 years.
Yep.
And after bartending, I was selling cars and flipping stuff. You know, like what Gary Vee says, flipping random things on Craigslist, stuff like that.
Right.
And then, you guys came around, and there it was. That's where...
and you jumped all over it.
Oh, yeah.
See, the thing is, he got a list of properties. He actually started calling on his wife, his girlfriend at the time's lists, and was already having really good conversations. So all of a sudden, I started getting calls from Luke saying, hey, I've got this guy interested in selling this property. And I was like, what is going on here?
Where are you coming from?
Yeah.
No, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure, it was a good time.
So when you started out, now we're talking to a lot of people that are interested in doing this.
Yeah.
They're interested in getting to wholesaling, or they've been doing it a lot, but they're interested in cold calling.
Yeah.
Why does cold calling work for you?
I mean, it works because you're direct with the seller.
Yeah.
There's so many different marketing ways out there, but when you're cold calling, you are reaching out, you are being proactive, as you say. So you can get in front of as many people as you want. You don't have to worry about, if it's going to get to them or not. You're getting right in front of them.
Right now.
Yeah.
And when you started, it took a little bit to get going,
absolutely,
right?
Yeah. I probably took me about 4 months to get my very first deal. Mm-hmm. And after that, it kind of started popping about 1 a month or so. Then probably about 2 a month. And then it's just that kind of started the cycle, and it just kept going and kept going from there.
And you what year did you start?
Oh man, that would have been
2014.
2014, yeah, because it's been a little 4.5 years about.
Yeah. So Luke started working with us. He would get the deals.
Yeah.
We would comp them. We would make sure that the prices were right. We would go with the contracts. We would go on appointments together.
Oh, yeah.
Get the contract signed.
Yeah.
And then you just evolved and evolved and evolved and evolved to the point where we're literally sitting in his office. He's got 3 other guys outside of this office making calls right now, following up with leads in multiple different markets. Okay. He's in Phoenix. He's in Utah. He's in Louisville. Right.
Absolutely.
And they're all being successful from picking up the phone, and talking to people,
and calling people,
and calling people.
Absolutely.
So when you started, what was the hardest part?
The hardest part, I believe, for everyone is staying motivated to stay on the phones for 4 to 6 hours a day. That's the hardest part because as we all know, it's not easy to do. Mm-hmm. You get bored. There's things that come up, and you just. Especially if you're calling at home, you get distracted easily. If you don't have an office to go to, stuff like that. So that makes it very difficult. But I just think that one of my tips is that if you can find something, and you've heard me talk about this before. Yep. So if you can find something to do while you call, it makes it 10 times easier.
So what did you find to do by chance?
I like football.
Yep.
So I play a little bit of Madden.
A little bit of Madden Live.
A little bit online.
So I want you guys to envision this, okay? Luke is literally, he's got, what do you have, a laptop? What were you dialing with?
It was a laptop at the time, yeah.
Laptop.
Yeah.
Couch.
Laptop sitting on my lap.
Yep.
Controller.
Yep.
And just looking up and down from the computer to the TV.
And you're playing Madden Live.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Were you any good?
I don't like to brag, but I mean, top 4% in the world.
Top 4%. So listen to this, guys. He's making
doesn't pay.
That doesn't pay, but
Madden doesn't pay, but it can help you find something that does pay.
But which
is cool.
It worked for you.
Absolutely.
Because as you're making calls, that's what kept you on the phone for 4 hours at a time. Was that
4
you
to
would
6 hours, yeah.
4 to 6 hours at a time. Was that he was honing his skills. He was learning different words. A lot of the TTP script originates from Luke's crafting of different words that would hit right with sellers.
Absolutely.
And getting straight to the point. We discovered that when we were calling, there's only 6 responses you get. Yes, no, maybe in the future. How much will you give me? How'd you get my number? And who are you?
Yeah.
That's it, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And like you said, there's when it comes to fine tuning your craft, when you're pounding the phones for 4 to 6 hours a day for 4.5 years, you start picking up small things that turn people off. You find out small things that get people more engaged,
right?
Things like that. And so what we've done is we've implemented them into our calling to where it's, every tiny little detail of every call, there's something that you can change about it to make it go your way.
You give us
At least give you a better chance, at least.
Give me a for instance. Give him an example. Give us some meat. Luke.
Okay, so for example, when you pop up the Zillow estimate, right? When it says, how many square feet is on the property is.
Yeah.
So one thing, super small thing that I do though, is that I will throw out and say, I'm showing that your property is, let's just say that on Zillow it says 1,750 square feet.
Yep.
So I'll throw out and say, I'm showing that your house is about 1,900 square feet. Does that sound about accurate? So what that is doing is that they're thinking, he thinks my house is bigger than it actually is. Even though I know it's 1,750 square feet, I'm throwing out a higher number. So they're saying, okay, so maybe I'm going to get a little bit more of a deal because he thinks my house is bigger than it actually is.
Right.
So if I throw out 1,900 and, and it ends up being 150 square foot smaller, they think they're getting a deal on whatever price I throw out.
Incredible.
And I mean, that's just a very small thing.
Right.
But I mean,
And you mentioned something, 4.5 years of calling, so you still call.
Yeah, I still call.
And just to let you guys know, Luke has $1 million business, okay? Luke has made millions himself personally from cold calling, okay? This has been over years, okay? Obviously, these keep compiling up and up and up. Why do you still call?
Because, I mean, the way that I look at it is that if I have nothing else to do for 3 hours, not to say nothing else to do, but I mean, my time spent on the dialer, my time spent calling still is going to be more profitable than me doing anything else.
Of course.
For myself.
Of course.
And I mean, I still don't mind Madden. That's kind of fun.
You still like playing Madden? You still like doing it?
It's still a good time. But I mean, it's just putting your time where it's best. And for me, it's on the dialer.
Yeah.
And so I mean, it's another big thing that I feel that people need to, that I've seen from people building a team, is that they want to build a calling team.
Yeah.
So this is huge. This is absolutely huge.
Yeah.
I don't know if me and you've ever talked about this, but people want to build a calling team, and they have never they've never picked up a phone and made a single cold call in their life.
I know.
And so how are you going to tell your calling team how to respond to certain scenarios?
Yeah.
How are you going to give them the best answers for what to do when things come up?
Yeah.
If you have no idea what they are yourself. I mean, you might be able to say, well, this is what I've heard to do.
Yeah.
But when you've actually been in the trenches, when you've spent that time making those calls and dealing with the objections and stuff like that, that you have to.
It's huge.
That's a huge recommendation for anyone who is building a team, is that put in the time yourself. And it doesn't have to be crazy, but I mean, at least get to know the meat and the bones of what it is.
What I say is you need to talk to 1,000 strangers yourself. Okay. Right? You need to talk to 1,000 strangers yourself so you know what's going on, right? So you understand the mentality of not necessarily the person that you're talking to, the seller that you're talking to, the distressed homeowner or property owner that you're talking to, but the mind of the person making the calls.
Absolutely. Oh my God, this is driving me crazy right now. I've been on the phone for 40 minutes.
Right. Yeah. Right.
Great.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. No, exactly.
How much do you think your tone of voice plays when you're making the calls?
Tone of voice is absolutely everything.
Everything.
I mean, we teach that with our team as well as mirror matching.
Yep.
You know, it's just a normal sales tactic.
Yep.
But I mean, when you're talking to a guy who's very short on the phone and he doesn't want to talk to you, but he's still interested, and he says, "Yeah, I'd sell. What's your offer?"
Yep.
You use a lower voice. You be very straight up with him. You give him his offer quick, or you find out what his number is.
Yep.
But I mean, you don't try to kind of weave your way around how you would with some other people.
Yeah.
You don't small talk. You don't talk about how nice the weather is.
Right.
You don't talk about, I know someone who used to be from Louisville. Stuff like that.
Right.
So you try to mirror match them. If someone wants to get off the phone with you, but they are interested, be short with them as well.
Yep.
If
Direct.
it's my personal favorite is a nice older lady.
Yep.
You use a higher voice, softer voice.
Yeah.
More small talk, things like that. I mean, it's huge.
Well, and I think second to tone, and you are the absolute best in probably the world. I'm saying that, but at active listening, right? So they say, that,
wonderful.
Yep, sure,
Right? Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean,
why is that so powerful? Why does that sound? But in your words, I mean, I've obviously said why on this channel, but in your words, like
the reason, I mean, you're not going to ever get a deal if you're going to argue with someone,
right?
And that's the thing is that we have to teach too, is that why are you going to sit there and tell someone, okay, let's just say their house is, let's say the estimate's $250, right?
Yeah.
The estimate's $250. Okay, if we have to come in at $175, whatever it is, right?
Yeah.
And they tell you, oh no, my house is worth at least $250.
Yeah.
You're not going to get the sale.
Right.
They want $250.
Yeah.
They're not coming off of it. You're at $175. Do you really want to spend the next 5 minutes fighting with them over telling them why their house is going to be worth $175?
Right.
No. And so I mean that's the thing is that it doesn't make sense to spend that time on that.
Yeah. But I think it's the little things that you say that make the conversations blossom because they open up, because they understand that you're listening to them. You're not just asking them a question like a robot and being quiet, right? It's the difference between a conversation and an interrogation.
Yeah, being very agreeable, it definitely opens them up.
Agreeable, 100%.
Being agreeable opens them up to getting deeper into conversation.
Well, and I think it gets down to confirming and approving, just like you were saying, confirming and approving, whatever their thoughts are.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think the house is $300. Okay, great. Yeah.
I see why you would say that I think it's worth $3. No, that makes sense. I'm just letting you know where we've been buying them personally.
Yep.
Is around the 220 mark. I understand that you think yours is $3, and I could see where you're coming from on that. But us personally, where we've been buying them is about 220. And it sounds like we could be fairly close. I mean, do you think there's any kind of wiggle room in there? I mean, possibly. Do you think you'd maybe come down to 250? Maybe.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, wonderful. Okay, great.
Okay, great.
I could possibly come up. I just would really need to get a chance to see the inside of the property.
Yep.
It's hard to give you a real concrete number without seeing the inside. So I mean, if I could get the chance to meet you, which I would love to get the chance to meet you. You sound like a wonderful person.
Yep.
But if I could see the inside, I could let you know if I could come up to that 230 or so. Maybe we can meet in the middle.
Yeah. You think he's done that before? Every single day for 4.5 years, right? Yeah. But that is the point of it. That is the whole art and the actual skill to making these calls is to not cause friction at all during these calls. Right?
You're not going to get a deal if there's going to be friction.
Right.
You're just not.
Right.
You have to be
move on.
Exactly. And that's another one of the big pointers that I have is and again, everyone does things a different way. But for me, what I've seen that has worked in the past is that if something is not going to happen, don't keep
don't force it.
No, exactly.
Yeah.
I mean,
move on.
Within the first 30 seconds if it's going to happen. So I mean, again, what we always teach our team is that if they are at a certain price and for a fact that is not going to happen, say, you know what, let me get together with my partner. I'll see if we can try to make those numbers work. If I can, I'll give you a call back and we'll go from there.
Yep.
It's a soft way to lay them down. It's not happening.
Yep.
You're not going to get that deal.
Yep.
And the thing is that another thing is that if you're going to talk them into it, if you have to talk someone into it, do you really think they're going to be at your price?
No.
Let me ask you. So if I was going to ask you, would you sell your house right now? What would your answer be?
No.
No. Okay. Well, are you sure? Like, I really want to buy your house. Like, how can I make it worth it?
No, I'm happy there.
Okay. Well, if you were going to sell and I could make it worth it, what would it have to do?
$1 million. You give me $1 million, it's yours. And this happens.
Exactly.
By the way, this happens every single day.
And this is the complete opposite of what we have to do.
Right.
We have to get it lower. So as much as you push and push and push for someone to try to sell their house, if they're not interested, they're not interested. Yep. And the only way you're going to make them interested is off of a high offer, which we already know ahead of time. Wholesaling is not offering over.
Well, and it's something that Tom Kroll, my mentor, told me a long time ago, tells everybody, we're deal finders, not deal creators. Right?
Absolutely.
We find the deals. We find the opportunities. We find opportunities in the marketplace. We don't just create them out of thin air where there's not any script. There's nothing that's going to, all of a sudden crumble their defenses and they're going to sell at a discount for their property, especially properties that, as soon as you hear that they've remodeled the kitchen, they've remodeled their master bathrooms, they've got such pride in their house. You look at the Zillow picture of it, the landscaping is perfect. That's not a deal.
No, it's not.
That's not a deal.
For sure.
So, you can really, I think you said something really, really important. I want everybody to pay attention to this. In the first 30 seconds. If it's going to be a deal. Now, I think a big mistake that I made, and I'm sure maybe you made it yourself when we started, was you're having a good conversation with somebody, and you're happy that they're not rejecting you, but they'll never do business with you. No. But you stay on the phone longer and longer because you're like, finally somebody's nice to me. Finally somebody's talking to me. Finally somebody's, but it's not going anywhere.
Wasting time.
It's wasting time. It's stopping you from finding that person.
Exactly. And the thing is, if you can get through those calls faster, the faster you can get through those no's, it's to find your yes.
Yep.
So don't spend, exactly like you said, don't spend 5 minutes per no. Spend 20 seconds per no. When you know it's a no, get off that phone. Do it a nice way. Don't say, hey, it's not going to work. Have a good one. No. Let me see what I can do. See if I can try to make it work. If I can, I will get right back to you.
Yes.
And then you're not going to call them back. That's not going to happen.
This isn't even gold advice. This is like platinum advice. This is diamond advice. You see how crazy I'm getting here? What we're going to do here, guys, is we're going to do a tour of his office, see what's going on, see people actually making calls, and then we're going to actually go and see the fruits of Luke's labor, because I think it's really important. One of the biggest things that doesn't get talked about enough is the lifestyle you get once you control your schedule. Because here's the thing. Luke calls and talks to people on his schedule. He time blocks time. His team time blocks time on their schedule. They're not anxiously awaiting somebody to interrupt their day with their family and small children and their dogs and their boats and everything because they have to answer an incoming marketing call. And I think this is a huge advantage. If you guys are looking for lifestyle in this business, it's a huge advantage to have conversations on your schedule. So check this out. This is old school. This is exactly the way that we did this 5 years ago. And you still do it today.
Absolutely.
This is an important point here, guys. Luke prints out all of his leads and he keeps it in 2 folders, okay? Now, what is this folder? This is your yearly?
Yeah, so this is the yearly. This is the daily. Monthly and daily.
Right.
So
what do you do every day? You come in?
So what we do is the callers all put their leads, in these 2 folders based on when they're supposed to call them next.
Yep.
So as of right now, we are in April. So this is the April folder. It's got 1 through 31. So if you've got someone who says call back in 7 days, today's the 17th, so you'd put it in the 24th. So, very self-explanatory.
So here's the point. This is pretty analog, right? The point here is this works for $1 million business, and people are waiting 3 months, 6 months to figure out their CRM systems, their online lead follow up when they should be talking to people, right?
You just
so you guys
jump
just
in.
set it all up just so that you can month, like in May, you have this many leads to call, okay? And then he puts it in which days it goes.
Right.
You come in each day.
May 1st
you pull
comes
it
in,
out,
you file them in, and then as the days come, you pull them out and you make the calls.
and you get deals.
Yeah.
And
Absolutely.
And you don't lose deals.
And we don't lose
It doesn't.
deals.
It doesn't. Like there's a stack here. There's a stack there. Like
we've thought about if there's a fire. Yeah, okay, that's come up before.
But it works.
No, exactly.
It
Yeah.
works.
Yeah.
It works because it's simple. This is not. We're not building rockets here, right? We're talking to people. We're having quality conversations with distressed property owners.
Yeah.
Every single day.
Every day.
And this is the way that you
That's
organize.
all we do. Yeah.
That's it.
It's very simple.
It's
very simple.
That's it. There you go.
You know how much this costs per month?
How much?
This is about a $12 fee up front,
Yep.
and then you got your paper costs.
Yep.
Sorry for the green people out there.
Yep.
There is a paper cost there.
There is a paper cost.
But it's a lot cheaper than a CRM.
Yep. Yep.
Just being honest.
There you go.